Welcome back to What If Goku and Kakarot Were Different People. I hope you're enjoying this series. I know I am. With all that being said, let's get to it. As the Saiyans arrived, eventually they would huddle up, just like in canon. As all the Earthlings would show up, this time Kakarot would show up. Vegeta would say, "Look, it's a Saiyan." Kakarot would look at him and say, "I have an offer for you. How about you join me and together we can take over this planet and even universe? Of course, you'll have to ditch that useless Vegeta, but I think I'll be a far better leader than him." Vegeta would get pissed and say, "You really think you can take my place, low-level runt? I'll show you the true power of the Prince of all Saiyans." As Nappa said, "Please let me handle him. I want to show this guy myself." Now, Vegeta would say, "Fine, knock yourself out. He's not even worth my time. This will piss Kakarot off." As Nappa would start to fight the Z-Fighters, Kakarot would want to defeat Vegeta. He would want to show him that he was worth his time. As Kakarot started to fight Nappa, so did Piccolo. Gohan fought too, but he was starting to hesitate, just like in canon. But this time, it was Kakarot who yelled at him. "Worthless little runt, why can't you do your job? I trained you, I pushed you, and this is what I get?" Gohan would say, "I'm sorry." Sorry doesn't begin to cover up. "You're worthless." Gohan would start to walk away, but then Nappa would blast a ki blast in front of him. "Where do you think you're going? You think you can just run up and leave? That's amateur." As Nappa started to fly towards Gohan, Gohan felt the anger coursing through him. The anger of not being good enough. The anger of not being able to do anything. As suddenly he kicked Nappa, sending him flying. As Kakarot laughed, "It'll take more than that to defeat my star pupil." He got up. "Pupil, huh? So you trained this little runt. That's very interesting. It'll be a shame if someone got rid of him." As the battle continued, Kakarot remembered that he used to be weak with his tail until he trained it not to do that. Maybe they are the same way. He would tell Piccolo his plan, and Piccolo would charge at him with Gohan. As Nappa would start to battle them, easily pushing him back, suddenly Kakarot would grab his tail and begin to laugh. "I bet you didn't even train this thing. You rely so much on raw power and strength, I bet you didn't even think about it. Soon you will be defeated by me, Kakarot, the Great Saiyan." But then Nappa just elbowed him straight to the ground. As he fell to the floor, he began to cough up blood. Nappa would laugh and say, "You really think we didn't train our tails? You think too highly of yourself. You think you're this genius warrior and strategist, but you're not. You're just a low-class trash," Nappa would say, as he would pick him up and throw him against the ground. But even though that didn't hurt nearly as much as what Nappa said. Kakarot began to feel it. Ever since he went to Earth, he thought he was the best. He thought he was the strongest. But now, he's been challenged, not just physically, but mentally. Now he realizes something. He's weak and pathetic compared to these other Saiyans. He realizes what it's like to be weak, what it's like to be pathetic, what it's like to not have power. As Kakarot gets up, he realizes he doesn't like this feeling, as he would grip his fist and say, "Shut up, Nappa! I'm the one who's gonna kill you!" As he would fly straight towards him, Nappa would simply punch him back. Go and look at him and say, "You've killed so many people, but you're not going to kill my uncle!" As he would charge at him, Nappa would say, "I'm sick of you, kid. You've got great power, but that's not gonna do you much good when you're dead." As Nappa would fire a massive ki blast at him, suddenly Gohan would freeze in fear. Everything began to stop in Kakarot's head. As he got up, he saw this. His nephew was in danger, and without even thinking, he ran in front of the way. He ran with everything he could. As he jumped in front of the way, the beam hit him, and he fell to the floor. He began to cough up blood and tears. As Gohan grabbed him and said, Why would you do that?" "I love you, and that's why. I hate to admit it. I've been trying to be a true Saiyan warrior, but fighting these guys made me realize something. These Saiyans are kind of assholes. And I'm a low-class warrior. I would have been trash if I would have stayed on planet Vegeta. It's best that I went to Earth, and I got to meet a nephew like you. Gohan, win for me. Make sure my sacrifice isn't in vain." As he would die, Gohan would begin to yell, "I'll kill you!" as he flew over and began to beat up Nappa and shot a massive Masenko at him. But Nappa managed to deflect it as his hand began to shake and sting. The only three people were left were Piccolo, Krillin, and Gohan. Piccolo actually managed to survive in this timeline, which will change the fight later. As Nappa started to get more involved, suddenly Goku would show up. As he would ask what happened, Krillin would tell him everything, and he would say, "Your brother, Goku, he might not have been a good person, but he gave up his life to save Gohan." They really bonded, even if he was just using him in the beginning. Goku would look over at his brother and begin to bury him. "I know we always didn't get along, and I know you weren't the best person, but you gave up your life to protect my son. Thank you, brother. Thank you for your sacrifice. It will not go in vain. I always knew deep down there was some good in you." Nappa would say, "Huh, enough talk, let's fight." As he would charge, Goku would simply dodge and humiliate Nappa, as then he broke his back and threw him at Vegeta. After that, Vegeta would ruthlessly kill Nappa, as Goku told Krillin, Piccolo, and Gohan to leave. They left. As they were all flying away, Piccolo would say, "I can't believe I'm doing this, running from a fight like a coward." Krillin would say, "Hey, Goku's got it covered. Besides, Piccolo, you stood and helped us more than I thought you would. We might not be good friends, to say the least, but we appreciate that." Gohan would say, "I can't believe he did that. He sacrificed his life to save mine. All because of the Saiyan threat. And everyone called him a monster." Krillin would say, "Yeah, I guess he had more humanity in him than we ever thought." As they would start flying away, suddenly they would feel a massive power level. As they would look and see a weird ball in the sky. As they flew back, they would see it. Vegeta would be a great ape. That cheap trick isn't so useful anymore, now is it? What was it called? The Kaioken? Vegeta would say as he squeezed Goku so hard some of his bones began to shatter. Vegeta would laugh. "I can't believe your brother died like that, protecting a low-class runt." It serves him well, since he was low-class trash himself. "You are going to die, Kakarot, and with it the entire bloodline. And I'll get these Dragon Balls, and I'll wish to become immortal, and the Saiyan legacy will live on forever, through me." As suddenly, Vegeta would feel a massive hand punch him. As he got up, it was Piccolo, giant. As Piccolo said, "Pick on someone your own size." Piccolo and Vegeta both began to battle each other. But when Piccolo turned giant, it didn't boost his actual power. It's more like a bluff, if anything. So, Piccolo was not in good shape. He started to get absolutely pummeled by Vegeta. Vegeta began to laugh. At first, I was a little impressed that you could grow your body like this, but then I realized something. It doesn't give you any power-ups. You're nothing but a big, loaded man. This is like a bluff, like flexing your muscles. You really think that could trick me, the great prince of all Saiyans? Piccolo began to cough up blood and say, "No, but I have something else that tricked you, Prince." As suddenly, Yajirobe would cut off Vegeta's tail. As he would turn back to his base form, the rest of the Z-Fighters would all start to fight him, but it still wasn't enough. Even with Vegeta's weakened state, he was still stronger. Goku had enough energy to use a bit of the Spirit Bomb. As Piccolo and Gohan would be battling Vegeta, Krillin would be barely able to move. As Goku looked at him and began to give him the Spirit Bomb, as he would say, "This is our last hope, Krillin. I hope you use it well." Krillin would throw it at Vegeta. Vegeta would dodge it, but then Gohan would knock it back, hitting him straight in the face. This would launch him straight into the sky. As everyone thought Vegeta was dead, eventually he'd land on the ground. He would start to crawl towards his space pod. Krillin would crawl with a sword, but then Goku would talk him out of killing him as Vegeta went off into space. A couple days would pass. Kakarot would be wished back to life. But Piccolo remembered Namek, and he remembered how they mentioned he was an alien. He begged Bulma to help get him there. So Bulma would build Piccolo a spaceship. But Kakarot also wanted to get there, so Bulma built gravity training, as Kakarot and Piccolo agreed to go to Namek. Little did they know that there would be trouble there waiting for them. Piccolo looked over at Vegeta and say, "So why are we going here? I mean, I know why I'm going, but why are you?" Kakarot would say, "Simple, I want to spend time with you. I feel kind of bad how I left you. After all, I am the mighty Kakarot. I should take better care of my comrades. And besides, you know a lot of cool techniques and you're a Namekian. Maybe you could teach me some of them. Maybe there's some new powers I can learn on Namek. Being strong isn't just about raw strength. It's about technique. I've learned that." Piccolo would nod and say, "So you're here to get stronger. Typical. Well, let's train." Piccolo and Kakarot both do gravity training, and since Piccolo could regenerate, he was actually very good at gravity training, and their power level would begin to increase as they trained and trained and trained as they got there. And that is going to leave things off. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think of this series so far down below. I am actually quite enjoying it. I hope you are too, and Kakarot and Goku being different people does change the story a lot. I hope the Saiyan saga was different enough. It still had a lot of similarities, but I feel like trading Piccolo and Kakarot makes some interesting storytelling device. And even though they don't need the Dragon Balls on Namek, I feel like Piccolo would still want to go, because that's his home planet. Of course, maybe I'm just making an excuse so the Namek saga could happen, but who knows. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this series so far in the comments below. Peace out. I love you all.